everyone. We are Group 15 and my name is Sarabjit Sodhi and our topic is freedom to choose life partner from a woman's perspective. First, we need to understand what is marriage. A commonly accepted and encompassing definition of marriage is a formal union and social and legal contract between two individuals that unite their life legally, economically, and emotionally. The contractual marriage agreement usually implies that the couple has legal obligation to each other throughout their lives or until they decide to divorce. Traditionally, marriage is often viewed as a key role in preservation of morals and civilization. Now we try to understand the status of women as described by the ancient Hindu text, that is Manusmriti. This text is written roughly 18,000 years ago, and some of the statements are: first is Pita Rakshiti, that means a woman should be protected by her father, husband, and sons. Second is Balyava, that means a female child, young woman, or old woman is not supposed to work independently. Third is Yastu na Bhave, that means wise men should not marry women who do not have a brother and whose parents are not socially well known. As we know that mostly all parents thinks about the factors like caste, religion, cultural differences and social status at the time of choosing life partner for their children. It means that a person who will marry their children should be of same caste and their family have good status in the society. Now, illiteracy is also an important factor. It means that when the person do not know their rights, they suffer mental harassment and physical violence from the family if they oppose their wishes. Now, other factors is orthodox thinking, and we can came later at this. Now, fake pride is also a factor, and women are considered as dignity of the house, and the responsibility of maintaining it is unnecessarily put on the woman. In Indian society, a woman's right to make decision in regards to her sexual and marital relationship is routinely denied and discouraged in the favor of a family. When a woman steps outside of strictly imposed parameter for what her family and community deem appropriate, such as pursuing an intercaste or interreligious marriage or leaving an abusive partner, she often meets violent opposition and incessant discrimination in the name of honor. A woman faces different circumstances in different states. For example, a woman exercise her right to choice in Kerala is more likely to face economic and emotional abuses, while a woman in Haryana who acts similarly is more likely to face physical and violent opposition from her family and community. Now we come to orthodox thinking. Society is nurtured in such a way as to include mankind, especially women, within the boundaries, limits, and observation. Right from birth, a woman is directed toward the particular way of abiding by certain societal norms. Indians cannot imagine marriage beyond same caste, same religion, or community, as the circumstances can take the form of violence, abduction, social boycott, family boycott, and honor killing.
Hello, I am Ajay Kumar Meena. I am going to discuss why honor killings. This happens because of refusing arranged marriage, engaging in lesbian gay relationships, marrying person outside caste or religion, desire of divorce, and rape. Most cases of killing for dishonor are from North India, and there are rare cases of killing for dishonor from South India, as shown in the image. And now, what is family's perspective? There is tradition of endogamy, that is marrying within the boundaries of one's own caste. Parents think they know what's best for their children, so they end up imposing their own choices on them. There is fear of social norms and standard in society. Parents think families may not get along well due to different religion. There is fear that other family will not have their culture and norms. There are false notions of loss of reputation if the girl marries by her choice. There is another notion that child born out of caste will not be perfect. And now, social or financial status. To explain this concept better, there is type of division to the kind of marriage in almost every society. hypogamy and hypergamy. Hypogamy is the act of marrying someone who is lower social and economic class than your own, and hypergamy is the act of marrying into an equal or higher economic class or social group. In India, men mainly practice hypogamy. Again, hypogamy by women is not practiced on such a level. Families don't allow show.
Hello guys, my name is Pankaj Saini. I will be briefing about the social problem, freedom to choose life partner, that exists in our society. That we do not, that women do not have freedom to choose life partner. So we will present the women perspective of this social problem. So first, I will brief about why this social problem exists in the society, and what are the statistics and what are the reasons, and what the statistics explain about this problem that exists in the society. So let's go ahead. So if we talk about if we talk about freedom to choose life partner, so if a woman choose life partner by herself or freely choose life partner, so they got killed, or we see several cases of the honor killing in the society if a woman chose life partner by his choice. So if we talk about Uttar Pradesh, so in 2015 it was 131, and if we in 2014 it was one case registered for the killing for the dishonor, and in Gujarat it was 21 in 2015, and in 2014 it was 2. In Madhya Pradesh it was 14, and in 2014 it was 7. So these statistics shows that this problem exists. This is serious problem. This is more serious in the Uttar Pradesh than other states, because so what are the reason are like lack of the education or the awareness or the social status, education. So this all factors shows that why this statistic is higher in Uttar Pradesh, that for the honor killing. And if we talk about Indian society, so if we divide Indian society into two parts, like North Indian or South Indian, so this problem exists more into the North Indian part, like in or also in North Indian part it is more in Punjab, Haryana and UP. And if we talk about South India, so this problem exists very rare, or this doesn't exist, we can say. So let's talk next statistics. So these are the statistics of how much freedom a woman have to choose a life partner in Indian society. So if we see overall in India, so it is, and if you talk about the same caste marriage, so it is 89.0% for the women that marry in the same caste, and if woman is marrying in the lower caste, so it is 5.58%, and if she is marrying in the higher caste, then it is 5.38% of the total marriage that happen in India. So, and then if we divide India into the regional part, like North Indian, South Indian, East, West, North, or Central part. So in North India, and mostly in Rajasthan and the Punjab and Uttaranchal, mostly in Rajasthan and Punjab, in Jammu and Kashmir, it is very high. It is very high that percentage that a woman will only marry in the same caste. So it is very rare that women will marry into the other caste.
My name is Simran Kaur, and I will be talking about if a woman is free to choose her own partner even when she is educated. So sadly there is an answer, and the answer is pretty disappointing, because only 5% of the women have control over choosing their partner, whereas 65% of the Indian women are literate. And examples can be taken as that of Delhi, which has a literacy rate of 86.2%. Nearly 2% of the women had control over choosing their partner. And in Meghalaya, which has a lower literacy rate than Delhi, had 76% of the women said that they had control over choosing their husband. So, all in all, we can say that a woman's power to make decisions regarding her marriage are not related with literacy. That it does not ensure that if she is educated, then she will be free to choose her own partner. And now, what are the laws present? So, there are certain international organizations such as the CEDAW, ICCPR, and CERD, which hold the governments accountable so that to ensure that the individual's rights are being followed. And our Honorable Supreme Court has also declared that the right to choose one's partner is an important aspect of right to life. And of course, on national level, our constitution provides certain safeguards and provisions such as Article 14 to 16, Article 21, and Article 19, so as to ensure that that an individual is getting their right to choose and as well as right to exercise their choice. And there are certain statutory bodies which are not enlisted in the constitution, such as the National Commission for Women and National Human Rights Commission, which ensure that the individual's rights are being followed and they provide an additional support for the same. Now, what is the Domestic Violence Act 2005? It basically states that if a woman wants to marry someone of her choice and her family is against it, then she can take a legal course of action against it. And the Special Marriage Act of 1954 states that if the couple is from different religions and they want to marry each other, then they can register for the marriage as well. And the Indian Christian Marriage Act of 1872 also does the same for the Christians.
I am Rahul Kumar, expanding my views regarding the topic freedom to choose life partner. My other group members have explained different aspects, and I like to acknowledge the initiatives taken by the government. Government has planned different incentives to promote free will marriages. The Maharashtra State Cabinet had taken the decision to abolish forced caste system marriages by encouraging inter-caste marriage. Government had decided to give 50,000 rupees to the couple. Similarly, government of UP and Haryana had also taken this issue seriously and implemented different schemes. Turning to the next slide, addressing the enormous scale of by legislative aspect, the Allahabad court had stated that where a boy and girl are living with their free will, then nobody, including their parents, has authority to interfere. Even the Supreme Court had said, while asserting the case of a 20-year-old Kerala girl whose marriage had been annulled, that live-in relationships are recognized and come under provisions of the Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. Similarly, a bench headed by Justice Alka Sareen in Punjab and Haryana court also stated that live-in relationships are no offense to law and are allowed under provisions of law even if the man hasn't reached age of 21. After stating all my points, I want to conclude that all these initiatives and efforts taken are worthless if we are unable to make them aware to rightful and needful. Therefore, we should hold seminars, campaigns in our society so women and men should be aware of their rights and laws. Campaigns and social reforms should be promoted to fight against child marriages, forced caste marriages, and honor killings. Although having all constitutional rights and legal backing in support of women who exercises her right to choose in a relationship, we should promote women education and empowerment to implement all these things at grassroots level. I will end our presentation by stating that humanity lies in love, not in harassment and forcefulness. Freedom to choose life partner should not be a gift, rather it is a right. Honor is respect for life, honor is respect for love, but there is no honor in killing. Thank you.